Hey y'all, so I thought I would bring you a little advice this week in our episode and kind of take something I've learned in a course I'm taking, relational communication, and kind of just lay out some advice I thought would be helpful in relationships. Because I've found it helpful myself, some of the stuff I've learned. So I wanted to kind of give you guys an idea. And if I'm looking off to the side, it's because I'm also tracking. I'm not very good with my words, so let that be a secret between us. But I'm also tracking with a script over here, so I can remember what I wanted to say. So don't mind that. But to start, this situation is something I have just recently experienced with my husband, Justin. And I did get his permission to share, so it's no big deal. But it was something we just kind of went through and I've learned and I thought was really helpful in our situation, and it might be really helpful in someone else's. So without further ado, here's the story for you. And then here's how it ties into what I've been learning. So Justin had come home from a long day. He's in the military, and so his long day tends to be a little different than my long day, staying home with our toddler, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, I digress, not to get off topic. So I could tell something was off because he was kind of quiet, a little bit tense, and there's been some stuff going on at work lately that has just kind of left him off kilter, if you will. So when I asked him if he was okay, he just hit me with a, yeah, I'm fine. And if you know anything, I'm fine really doesn't mean I'm fine. Almost never. And I'm queen of the I'm fine when I'm not fine and I'm mad and fuming. So I knew better. So rather than push and try to get him to tell me what was really going on, I just reminded myself of the context of the situation. He isn't one to just unload emotionally to begin with. And so, he kind of grew up in a push through it environment, if you will, where I'm not going to tell you what's really going on with me. And then obviously being in the military, that just amplifies that for him. So, in my class, I've learned through my textbook readings that basically the context of like how they grew up, background, culture, it kind of shapes how we all express ourselves, not just obviously Justin in this situation, but how everyone expresses themselves. So keeping that in mind, it just reminded me that, hey, this isn't about me right now. This is about him, and he's navigating his emotions, and this is his process that he needs to go through, whatever it is. And then there's obviously my emotions, and I kind of got that lump in my throat where it was like, have I done something? Did I misspeak? Did I annoy him? Or not even so much did I annoy him, but like, is there something he's not sure how to tell me? And instead of reacting emotionally to that and like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Or what is he not telling me? I just kind of took myself out of it and was reminded by one of the readings I did, by Gottman and Silver, just kind of about like talking about emotional bids. So those small moments when someone is reaching out, even if it's not through verbal words. And so maybe just his quietness was his way of asking for like, hey, give me 5, give me a second, let me process, and then we can talk about it later. So I gave him that space. I just gently placed my hand on his arm and I let him know like, hey, I'm here whenever you want to talk about it. If you want to talk about it, I'd love to listen. That brings me to listening. So in the moment, in this situation, listening wasn't just about what he was actually saying, but also those nonverbal cues. He was giving his body language, his energy, the quiet things. He wasn't necessarily saying, I could just tell. And obviously my marriage, I'm very close to my husband, so I can kind of always tell when something's off. But even a lot of just regular relationships, you can always kind of get that idea of when something's off because someone's just giving those nonverbal cues. So sometimes active listening doesn't actually mean hearing with your ears, but really listening with your heart and giving someone that room they need to feel without having to fix whatever it is right away. Especially, and I know that can be really hard, especially if you're a fixer. I personally am a fixer, so I get it. It can be really hard not to just jump right in and be like, hey, what can I do to fix this situation for you? But to let them be like, okay, I'm really frustrated. Let's process through it. So my advice to you, if you find yourself in a similar situation, would be to just take a pause, consider the context, what's going on in their world right now. Is it chaos? Do they need just a minute? Be mindful of your own emotions as well, because that can also really make or break a situation. If you let your emotions take over the moment, it can really hurt and make a communication process longer than maybe it needs to be. And listening with your whole heart, like I had said earlier, and not just your ears. So asking those gentle questions of like, hey, if there's anything you want to talk about, when you're ready, I'm here. I'm all ears, just those small gestures you're giving them without crowding them and making them feel like, this is one more thing I have to do. So to wrap it up, communication is more than just talking, you guys. It's understanding the full picture of someone. When we slow down and we tune in with our empathy and we create space for the emotional safety and connection, even if it's just in silence. So I have a challenge for you. So your challenge this week, next time someone says I'm fine, because I'm sure someone will, we all do, take a moment and kind of look beyond just what they're saying. Maybe it's a partner, maybe it's a friend or a coworker, and just show up with kindness and patience and presence, because that may be just exactly what they need. So that's it. Thanks for hanging with me today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.